How's it going, guys? Welcome back to The Average Garage, and I'm excited because car parts have just arrived. So let's check out what just came. It's a drive shaft for Sleepy 6 and the adapter to make it work. Alright guys, so as you can see, I'm pretty pumped. I got the drive shaft for the XR6 now, so that's another huge thing off the list. So when it comes time to start this up, it'll actually move under its own power, obviously once I put oil in everything. Anyways, what I'm going to run through today is how we get from this flange to this tripod out of the ZF6. So I went with a bloke called Bruce from Final Drive Engineering in O'Connor here in Perth, and he was able to sort me out with a drive shaft. I paid full retail for it, but I thought I'd shout him out anyways because he looks like he's done a really good job. So he's supplied me with an adapter that adapts the tripod into a sort of normal bolt flange for the 4-bolt uni. So yeah, I couldn't be happier. I got a drive shaft. Now I'm just got to make sure it all fits and all bolts up honky-dory. And then we've got to make a mount for the center bearing because we've gone to a 2-piece shaft. So there will be a little bit of fabrication, but you get that on the big jobs. But I think where I've given him the measurements should line up in the middle of this little crease here. So what we're going to do is once the drive shaft is up, I'm going to support it on that stand there. So the plan at the moment is to run some 6mm flat bar from probably here across to here. And it'll either be bent or I'll weld a section to it to step up to where it needs to drive shaft to sit, because we want the drive shaft as flat as possible until the center bearing, and then it can drop down to the diff. Alright, so I don't know how well you guys can see, but there's a dowel here as well as a little spacer which I've been told to use. So what I'm going to do is just chuck some Loctite on these bolts and then chuck that on the tripod. We've got the tail shaft mounted up, so nothing's really tight. I have put blue Loctite on these 4 bolts, so I will nip them up before that sets. But I've sort of mocked up how the drive shaft is going to sit. I've got literally a motorcycle battery under there just to prop it up, because I do have to make the center mount. But yeah, that's how it's going to sit. Exhaust will run through this hole here, because it's got to run sort of between the drive shaft and the body a bit. Otherwise it's not going to clear under the car. So that's got tons of room there as far as I can see. So yeah, and then at the back I've got to find 2 more nuts, or I've got to go buy some because the lovely zinc plating boys decided to lose a whole bunch of stuff when I got my zinc plating done, so I'm 2 nuts down. But nevertheless, the drive shaft is in. I'll get some more nuts for it, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Let's start making this center mount. Now, I bought some new nuts for the tail shaft. I bought the wrong bloody ones. So anyways, I'm gonna have to go buy some more because when everything got zinc plated, they lost 2 of the nuts from the rear flange. So I'll have to go buy some more at some point, but they're not open today, so it's not gonna happen today. Anyways, moving on. Robbie's on his way around tomorrow, and we're gonna do the center bearing mount. So that's one thing we got to look forward to. And once the center bearing mount is done, then the drive shaft is done. So yeah, what I'm going to do is measure up those bolts so I can buy the right bloody nuts this time, and then we'll crack back into it tomorrow when Robbie's here. Alright, so in preparation for Robbie rocking up tomorrow, I needed to make a start on removing the interior so we can get to the floor pan of the car. So, I've stripped out all the stuff that was sitting in the back seat, and the back seat is just out there. So, what we're going to do is start getting rid of all this stuff, pulling the seats out and all that sort of stuff. Pretty much remove as much as we can. Remove all the center console that I only just put back, but I didn't really screw it down, so it doesn't count. But yeah, we're going to remove everything, rip it all out, get access to the floor pan, and then we can make sure there's nothing important down there, and we can drill straight up without drilling through the carpet, ready to bolt in the center bearing mount. Well, I've worked up a sweat yet again on this car, because, you know, blood, sweat and tears. Anyways, carpet's out, which is absolutely disgusting, so I might put the Fairmont carpet in that I've got. But, on the plus side, I found like 10 bucks in... But on the plus side, apart from breathing in a shit ton of mold, I've so far found about 10 bucks in coins cleaning this thing out. But, yeah. But now the floor pan is exposed, so when it comes time to drilling the holes through from the bottom, I know I'm not going to hit anything important. Stay tuned, and yeah, we'll get into that once Robbie gets here tomorrow. Alright, so this is the EL XR6 carpet, and this is the one out of the EF Fairmont. So if you look closely, this Fairmont one looks a lot more sort of plush style compared to the XR one, which is a bit more flat and sort of harder. So the XR one's definitely dirtier, but the Fairmont one's not in the greatest shape either, and dirty as well as pretty worn. So questionable as to which one I'll use, but I'll probably give them both a bit of a quick clean and see which one comes up better, and that will hopefully help me decide which one I use. So let's see how we go. But anyways, I'll leave this for now, and the next time you see us for the third time will be with Robbie. So yeah, next time you see us, he'll be here, he'll give us a hand, and yeah, it's all ready for him to do his magic. All right, Robbie's in the house. I told you he was gonna come and he rocked up, so yeah. So what we're gonna do at the moment, Robbie's idea is to make this plate bolt up to the bottom of the center bearing, and then what are we doing? Just tacking the bits to the rest and welding them up, eh?
Yeah, we'll just make some more bits.
Just
tack it together, and then weld along here where it meets up. Maybe put a little gusset along the back, make it look all nice and like it was meant to be there.
And then we can paint it black and make it look sick. Too easy. All right, I'm gonna get to drilling. So we're making some big body washers essentially with the bolts welded into them. So these are going to go inside the car, so they'll remain quite flat under the carpet. They'll pop down through the holes that we drill in the floor pan, and then we can use nuts underneath to hold the tail shaft bracket up. So we've just got the bolt through a big hole with a nut, which pretty much just holds it straight and steady, and then we'll just run a bead along the top of the bolt round onto the steel to make it all one piece, and she'll be sweet. While Robbie's here, I'm getting him to check out the bonnet, because the bonnets actually hit the barras when you put a barra in these E-Series Falcons. So we're going to trim a little bit out of the bonnet, and then we're going to just weld some tiny plate in just to keep it sort of legal, and you know, they have to have things their way. So we're going to just cap off the ends. We're not going to grind a whole lot out, we're just going to grind a little bit out and hope for the best. So stay tuned, let's get to it. Okay, so looking at the bonnet here, you can see the white lines that I've drawn. So we're going to cut along here and along here, and then in on an angle at the side so we don't hit the main skin of the bonnet. Now this is just the bracing of the bonnet, so it will be slightly weaker but not too much, and then we're just going to put a cap following this contour all the way across and then cap that end as well. Alright, so we ground out that big piece and we made up a little plate to go in there, and then I'm just going to cut out the plate for this side here. So we've just made some little cardboard templates and I'm just cutting it out of some thin steel that I've got. Robbie's about to tack this one into place and work his magic. I'm going to cut this one up and we should be sweet. So it turns out last time when we did the dipstick, we welded it in the wrong spot because now it's in the way. It was fine before, but now it's in the way, so we're just going to re-weld that as well. So if I put some light down here, I've ground all the paint off the dipstick tube, and I've made a bracket up, which is Robbie's just grinding the last of the paint and the galv off, and he's going to tack it in, and it should be sweet. Alright guys, and just like that, the Strive Shaft episode is complete. So if we have a look under the car, you can see the nice drive shaft up in there. It's all bolted up, it's all done. So Robbie whipped up this bracket for me, which I'm 100% grateful for. As always, thank you very much, Robbie at Arcade Developments. We've got the plate bolts like you would have seen before, and I've just popped down to the local hardware store after work today and grabbed some nice new hardware for it, being the nuts, and I made some washers up. So yeah, it's all bolted up, it's all good. We've got the tripod adapter in there that was supplied by Final Drive Engineering. That's this mob here. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate the work. And yeah, we've got some nice new nylock nuts on the back of the drive shaft here as well. So with the drive shaft being done, that is one more major item ticked off the list for this build. So thank you very much for coming along for the journey. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to show your support to the channel by liking and subscribing, and share the video with your mates if you feel like you need to. So yeah, we'll see how we go. And next up, I think we've got the, I don't know, either wiring or intercooler piping or exhaust, something like that. The list is getting shorter and shorter, and this thing is close to being started. So stick around for the journey. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Peace, guys. We'll see you later.